Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
Awesome. Well, how the heck are you this fine day? Today on episode 235 of TruPowur Academy, we are going to talk about beating the utility rate and customer risk tolerance and how to use layered purchasing with the reverse auction to help you close more deals and obviously to give your customers a better deal in being proactive with those customers and their belief systems. Also, how to use the AutoPilot for those customers who have long-term contracts. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so the topics that we're going to be covering today, obviously, is the overview of the market updates and how to use that in beating the utility rates and understanding customer risk tolerances and how to use the layered purchasing with the reverse auction, or otherwise known as request for price. And lastly, we're going to go over the AutoPilot and how you can help customers who are really adverse to looking at any other alternative in risk tolerance, who have long-term contracts but still want to benefit either way. And the AutoPilot is also so that you can use that in regulated and deregulated markets. The market updates. So the market updates is available in the back office of the pricing platform. And so when you log in, and this is also something that you want to refer to anytime you're requesting additional customer leads to be added into your CRM. Why? Well, as you know, you can do the analytics on all territories manually. However, the system automatically does the analytics on all territories on a daily basis and then creates this report. And so if you look at the market updates, this is going to give you a daily synopsis of what is happening in the market today. So at the top is going to have your commercial, electric. And so these are going to be the markets where you can provide customers the greatest amount of value. So rather than you maybe reside or work predominantly in the Texas market, but you look and see that Illinois, you can provide a far more greater value, then you need to focus on Illinois. And then from your quick launch menu, you can request that Illinois customers be added to your CRM. And those are added in a way so that you're the only person that's going to receive those. So you don't have to worry about competing against somebody else or 50 people calling the same customer. So take good care of them because you're the only person that is going to talk to them. But looking at this, the commercial electric rates, we can see that the best markets to be focusing right now are going to be Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania. For natural gas commercial, Illinois, Maryland, New York. And for residential, you've got Illinois and Pennsylvania. For residential natural gas is going to be Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And then below that, you'll see that markets where customers receive competitive bids. So on a daily basis, if you want to see what other agents and brokers are doing, this is a great place to see what's happening on a daily basis. So on this day, these are all of the auctions or request for price that came to a close. In other words, the auction had run its course over the past 3 days, and then here were the results. And so this gives you kind of a good idea. So in Connecticut, we were able to make a difference of 22 mils. That's pretty good. Massachusetts, 11. Another one in Massachusetts, 11. New Jersey, 37 mils. That's excellent. New York, 24, 1.3. That's pretty decent. But you can see all of the auctions that have transpired and where people are getting the best rate. So this means that when you see this difference of 20.58 mils, that means that you are below matrix rates. In other words, what is being offered to the general public or to the customers out there based on matrix ratings. So this customer is going to be able to take advantage of 20 mils in this case, which means that's 2 cents. How is that important? Well, first off, it tells you that the Texas Encore market is very competitive right there. And we were able to drop that from a matrix rate of 7.25 to 5.199. So that's pretty significant, especially with rates going up due to natural gas pricing and so forth. So paying attention to these things are going to be beneficial in a lot of ways. So market timing predictions, as you know, we introduced market timing, and so it is doing its job. Now, for the past 18 months going on 2 years, I have been actively telling people that you need to renew your contracts for as long a term as possible. We can even go as far as a 10-year contract. Not sure that many customers are going to want to abide by that, but we certainly can. But long-term contracts are going to provide your customer the greatest amount of protection and provide you the longest duration of residual income. And so, but human nature, as customers have, always feel like they're being sold and want to wait. And so I've been telling people that you need to renew these contracts, that the rates are going to double and triple. Now, this is a graph of what the natural gas market is doing, but over 50% of electricity is generated by natural gas. So there is going to be a domino or a trickle-down effect to include all of the other things that are going on in the economy. Temperatures are going to have a lot of effect on what's going on in the demand field. So you can see that, if people would have listened, they could have protected themselves from this large peak. But in any case, it's important to note that we need to be looking at customers through a different set of glasses. And instead of looking in the rearview mirror and seeing what happened in the past, let's look forward as to what is going to be happening in the future and what can we do about it to best provide the customer the best protection and ultimately give them a way out if needs be, if the market changes. And so your customer is going to have a couple of beliefs, right? And so if you look at a customer who let's do this. Let's jump into the CRM because the information you need is right here in Documents under TruPowur, right down here for layered purchasing. And I'll blow this up so it makes it a little easier to see. But there's a lot of factors that cause high markets, right? Obviously, the war, supply chain, lack of resources, pipeline, weather, temperature. There's a lot of different variables that go into that. But what is the outlook for the future for your customer? Long-term contracts will save more. The further out that you go and move those customers into 2024, 25, 26 and beyond is going to be a better experience for them long term. And so when you look at where the market is currently, there's either going to be a belief that the market is going to continue to go up, which I believe it will. And there are going to be those customers who believe that the market is going to retract and is going to pull back. And so they're going to want to wait. And so how do you overcome that scenario in either situation? Well, the way to do that is to first understand your customer and what the reality is today. So how would you address the current market? Do you believe that there is a chance for that market to go up? Or is there a chance that that market will go down? Well, here we are right here and today, and customers are going to have certain beliefs, and some of that may be honest, felt, and some of it may be just to try and get you off of the phone. But I think that if you can put the onus and responsibility of that belief back into the customer's control, then I think that that provides a huge amount of value. So, short-term contracts, the fact is that, today we are having rates in hand that could bring savings. In the short term, the customer wants to guess that something might happen where the market will probably, go up or down in the future. Then we can certainly cater that to that. But long-term contracts have proven time and time again to provide far more value to the customer. So what can we do? Well, we use layered purchasing, which is something that we have added to the system this year. And we touched on this a few weeks ago, and I want to go a little bit further in depth on how to provide that and how to have that discussion with your customer. So basically what that is going to do is allow you to find out from the customer as to what their belief system is, right? And so what are their beliefs? And where do they feel that the market is going to go? And so you're going to have a discussion with a customer that is ultimately going to result in one of two things. Either they believe that the market is going to continue to go up and then they're going to want to hedge that, or they believe that the market is going to go down. And so how do we take advantage of either one of those? Well, the idea is the approach to the customer and having that framework and being able to provide to them what are the chances. So, do they believe that the market is got a 20% chance to go down? Or do they believe that it's basically topped out and they're 70% sure that the market is going to come down at some point? And so we want to be able to provide something where the customer can hedge a portion of the load and increase higher the chance of, you having a customer in an up market, or if they're right, in a down market, to be able to take advantage of that by setting up a layered grid in order to add additional purchase layers on the market. So I think the best way to do this is to just actually show you. So when we go into our back office, we have already loaded the customer's information into the platform. And so we're going to take and pull that customer's information up. And so right here, if I pull this customer's information up, first thing to note is that once that customer's information has been added into the system, it is automatically, even though we've only added one bill for that month, the system is already going to start tracking all of their usage going back. So it's going to keep an accurate record by looking at the utility to be able to see what is this customer actually using. So we get accurate numbers, not just taking whatever they are currently on. So, you know, if you look at somebody's bill like this, for example, where you see April, and they had usage of 788,000 kWh. Well, if you took that and multiplied that by 12, it wouldn't be correct, because you can see that there were months where they were much higher. So having that information where the system pulls that in from the utility so that you have an accurate reading is really important. But how do we set up a layered purchasing? Well, the first thing we would do is go to request for price. And this is the reverse auction or request for price tool. And we would do two things. One, we're going to request that the suppliers bid on a fixed all-in, which we have right here. And we're going to set this, I would set it to 60 months. And then we're going to add in an index, which is an adder only. So we're only going to pay for the index rate so that it's going to follow the market. So as the market starts to change, then the rate that they pay is going to fluctuate as well. And so we're going to want that to match. So we'll have both at 60 months. Now, if for any reason you want to see something that is a little bit different, so maybe you want to also look at 36 months, so you can put that in there. Just remember to include the index adder and make that match so that you've got 36 months matching there. So you want to make sure that you've added in the index adder only and the fixed all-in. So that way, when the suppliers start to bid one against each other, you're going to see those competitive bids. At the conclusion of that auction, we're going to be able to say, if this customer believes that there's a 70% chance that the market is going to retrace, then what we're going to do is we're going to take 70% of their contract and put it on an index rate, because they'll benefit as the market goes down. We're going to take 30% of that contract and add it as a fixed all-in. Now, we don't need to know how much that percentage is until the conclusion of the auction, but I think the customer needs to have a clear understanding as to they have some choices. And if they really believe that the market is going to come down, then we want to be able to put that onus and responsibility of that belief back into that customer's lap and provide something that is going to be of value to them should they be right. Now, if they're wrong and the market does continue to increase, then at least they've been protected at some level, because they've got 30% of their contract hedged with a fixed all-in. Now, you can make that 1090, you can make it 50-50, you could make it 30-70, 70-30, 75-25, whatever the customer believes. And so if they believe that the market is going to retrace, then we're going to want to put whatever that number is. If they have a 75% belief that the market is going to come down and they want to take advantage of it, they would benefit greatly by having an index rate on the 75% portion of their contract. And so once this is done and completed, we can always click invite the customer so that they will get a special link that will actually tie them to a place that is solely just for them, where they can observe the auction in real time. And so they're going to be able to see, so you've got that transparency, so you don't have to worry about customers thinking you're doing something behind their back. Now, you do have the ability to set your margins here. They will not see the margins. And so the suppliers are going to take into account as they're bidding, because they're going to see the margins that you're going to want for this customer. And so you're going to want to know that. So if we think back when we were looking at the market updates where you had customers that were benefiting, 20 mils, I might have an opportunity where normally if I were asking for 5 mils or 3 mils, maybe if I'm in that same market, I could go to 7 mils, make a little bit more money on my side, while still having a huge benefit or a huge impact and benefit for the customer based on their belief. So once the conclusion of the auction is done, then you will see an extra indication down here that will actually allow you to, it'll add another field down below here where you will actually be able to have that discussion with the customer and say, okay, we've got this rate for the index, we've got this rate for the fixed. How much of that do you really believe now that it's going to go down? And I think it's really powerful to be able to put that into the customer's lap, so to speak, because if they believe 70% sure that it's going to go down and they start looking at the market, they might change their thought process just a little bit. So having the customer give you that information so that you can feed it into the system is going to give you a huge benefit, and the customer is going to benefit from it greatly as well, because we can take not only a percentage of that contract and assign it to either an index and a percentage to the fixed all-in to hedge their position, but we can also add in standard or predictive or blended purchasing layers. So we could say, okay, if the market goes up 10% to where it is right now, I want to trigger the other 25% that I have as a fixed all-in. I want it to trigger to move that to an index. So there's all kinds of triggers. If you've ever bought options or sold options or did any trading, very similar in that sense, where you can put stop losses or trading points in there. So we will certainly walk you through that process. I would be more than happy to get with you on a call with a customer to go over that with them and explain that in greater detail. But I think that the value point here is being able to take a customer who says, I don't want to do anything because I believe the market is going to come down. I think I need to wait. Well, we already know, based on what the market has already done, that waiting did not help anybody. So this is what happened when you wait. So the market has doubled and tripled, And so we want to be proactive and making sure that that customer belief system is actually valid. So there is a way in order to handle that. So hopefully that made a lot of sense to you. So beating the utility rates and using the customer's risk tolerance is important on how to use the layered purchasing with the reverse auction. So they kind of go hand in hand, but you can take advantage of that by focusing on those areas where we're getting the greatest impact, not only for matrix pricing, but where we're getting the greatest impact and results on some of the auctions. So keep an eye on those auctions. They are posted as they are completed on a daily basis. So it kind of gives you an idea of what other agents and brokers are doing around the country. And so that's a huge, huge benefit. And so in either case, there are going to be times when customers, no matter what you say, are going to be adverse to exploring anything that is in their mind going to potentially put them in a position that they fear. And so by using the AutoPilot, this is something that you can use for both residential and commercial customers. You can do this in both regulated and deregulated markets, and it is available right here. And so in essence, the AutoPilot is very unique in that we do not switch the customer's account. We don't change anything on their account, at least when it comes to their current status. And so you can actually, this is very similar to the utility audit, except we're not auditing. We're actually going to save them money on their monthly expenses. And so you can literally upload their electric, natural gas, internet, mobile TV, satellite security, newspaper subscription, bottled water delivery, any monthly bill that is not their mortgage, car payment, or credit card. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But besides those three, anything that you have that is a monthly bill or the customer has as a monthly bill, we're talking about electric right now, but I would upload them all. Internet, mobile, TV, satellite, electric, water, trash, sewer, all of those things you can upload to the system. And it is a very simple process and rather quick. It takes about 10 days to get an answer. And we don't, if you upload somebody's mobile phone, we're not going to switch them with AT&T, with Verizon, or with Spectrum or anything. We don't switch anything on their bill. All we do is go in through aggregation because we've done millions of dollars in savings. All we're going to do is reduce the amount of their monthly expense. So we renegotiate the rate that they pay. Everything else remains the same. So we're not going to switch their services. We're not going to take their internet and reduce it from 200 megabytes down to 50 so it saved them some money. We're not going to do that. All of their services and plans will remain exactly the same, but using our aggregation and negotiators, we're going to be able to reduce what they pay. And so if you haven't watched that video, you ought to spend some time and take a look at that.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Do you have a cable bill or a phone bill or any other monthly bill for things like internet or home security? Of course you do. Well, guess what? You're probably being overcharged, and you're not alone. Millions of Americans are overpaying on their monthly bills to the tune of $60 billion a year. What if you could pay less for the exact same services? No, really, no change. And then use that extra money for things that make your life better. like a family vacation, college tuition, or simply taking some me time. Sound too good to be true? It's not. You can put your savings on AutoPilot. We'll analyze your bills and negotiate on your behalf, so you won't pay any more than you should for the essential services you use every day. You don't pay unless we can save you money. When we lower your bills, we'll split the savings with you, and you'll get the same or better service than you have today for less money and no hassle. We know because we've already saved our customers millions of dollars on their essential services like mobile phone, internet, cable, and more. You send us your bills, we lower them. It's that simple. Stop overpaying today. Send us your bills. That's all it takes to start living your life better.
Become more acquainted with it. This is a great and powerful tool in order to work with customers in regulated and deregulated areas who just don't want to do anything. So, if we can't save them money, it doesn't cost them a dime to find out. So you upload all your bills, we save you money, plain and simple. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to do that. For the typical homeowner, it's going to typically save them $400 to $1,700 a year. And so that's not too bad. And obviously commercial, that number will increase. So that's kind of nice. So let me, all right, let's stop here for a moment. I'm going to unmute everybody so we can go through a Q&A or question and answer. If you're not with us today, join us on a call so that your questions can be answered. And we'll be right back in just a moment. Well, I hope that you found value in today's training and information. If you did, please give us a like and a subscribe, and be sure to hit that notification bell for any new updates. Until next time, have fun storming the castle.